Hello movie watchers, welcome to Moon Movie Review. I'm your host, Travis Moon. If you're new to this channel, here's how it works. If you don't want spoilers, I start with a non-spoiler review followed by my recommendation on whether or not I believe this to be a must-see or a wait for DVD. Then I'll give you a spoiler warning before I move into a more in-depth review where I talk about my likes, my dislikes. I'll even give you my 4-point rating system, which I like to call the breakdown. Then I will let you guys take it from there. Okay, movie watchers, let's review. Cue intro! Today's review is Escape Room, starring Taylor Russell, Deborah and Woll, Tyler Labine, Logan Miller, Jay Ellis, and Nick Dodani. Escape Room was directed by Adam Robitel. Sounds like medicine. This film is the suspenseful story of 6 strangers who, for one reason or another, are all given a puzzle box. Upon solving the puzzle box, an invitation to attempt the world's most thrilling escape room is revealed.
Okay?
Yeah. This serves as an entry voucher.
And there's a $10,000 prize for the winner. Soon, all of the members realize that they're in way over their heads, and what was supposed to be just a game and a chance to win some money turns into a fight for their life.
This is my hospital bed.
Me too. They made these rooms for us.
Have you ever seen things that weren't there before?
I am not imagining this.
Surviving is a choice.
And not everyone gets that lucky.
That's why they chose us.
And they all look just the same.
Let me start off by saying that I enjoyed the movie overall. I do have some criticisms, but that just kind of goes without saying. The movie is suspenseful and thrilling, so it's fun to watch and try to guess what's going to happen next, but it moves kind of fast, so that's a little hard to do. However, there's a lot more backstory in this movie than I originally thought there was going to be, and more than I originally expect in these types of films. It's not just the typical one-dimensional plot line that you're used to seeing with this type of movie. Most people hated the ending. I didn't. It was okay. I think most people just didn't get what they wanted out of the ending, so they decided not to like it. I'm okay with this. I actually want writers to change things up and give us something different than what we might expect. I actually think this is a positive thing, not a negative thing. Overall, I think this movie is fine. If you're interested, then I would say go see it. If you're not interested, then you don't have to. There's nothing incredible going on here, but there's nothing terrible going on here either. If you enjoy movies and TV, then click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with cinema. Stay tuned to the end of this video so that you can see what reviews I've got coming out next. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Moon Movie Review. Thanks for watching. Many directors like to use this trick to build anticipation, where they start you off in the middle of the movie to give you a taste of what is coming, and then they cut back to earlier in the timeline to develop the story. Now, this is generally a pretty good trick and works pretty well. However, this kind of trick is for movies with deep backstory. This movie doesn't have deep backstory, so it doesn't feel like it fit very well with this movie. I wasn't sure what to expect as far as how developed of a story that they were going for. I certainly think they could have done more, but they also could have gotten away with a lot less. So I'm thankful for their efforts that they did put in, try to develop some sort of story in a film like this where they didn't need to. They only give us some backstory into some of the characters. They didn't give us backstory into all of the characters, which is my biggest criticism. And of the backstory that they do give us, they just barely begin to scratch the surface. They don't really go very deep. They don't really give us much on who the characters are and how all the characters got here, as much as I would have liked. I'm a story guy. I think developing the story is the most important thing you can do in film. So I would have really liked to have seen the character development aspect of this movie go a lot further than it did. The runtime of this movie is 1 hour and 40 minutes long. You could have easily pushed the runtime to 2 hours and had an extra 20 minutes of character development. Deborah's character, Tyler's character, and Nick's character get little to no development at all. Deborah's character had a lot of potential, I thought. Being the only survivor of her military unit in Iraq, I feel like there was a lot more that they could have explored and a lot more they could have done with her character in this film, but then she just kind of dies. And I was kind of sad. But this brings me to one of my favorite parts about the film, which the writing is pretty coherent and it's fairly original. Now, many people have criticized this film for just being a mashup of 2 other films like Saw and Cube, but that's okay. Not every story can be this epic, great standalone movie. It's okay. Many people hated the ending, I think because they didn't get what they wanted. They just wanted to complain about it. I think they wanted everyone to die in the end, and that's not what happens in this film. In this film, we get a setup for a sequel, and I think the writers decided to go a different way to give us something different than what we all expected. That's a good criticism. That's not a bad criticism, so I'm okay with it. The good writing I'm talking about can be seen in the natural story progression and in the way the characters die. The individual escape room puzzles are not that easy to solve, but they're not impossible either. There's only a few steps to solving each room, which this is actually a good thing. This part of the film should not be overly complex. There would be no point for it. The deaths of the characters in the film are simple but original. Nick dies after falling through the ice and drowning in the cold water. Now, on the surface, this seems simple, but you actually need an underwater current for this to happen. This way, Nick can't swim back to the hole and climb out of the hole that he fell through. Deborah's character basically just dies because she made a mistake. She doesn't die from one of the traps in the escape rooms. She makes a mistake. That mistake puts her in a risky situation, which leaves her hanging from a phone cable, and she just doesn't have the upper body strength to let go of the phone cable to grab something securely, and the phone cable breaks and she dies. And I was sad. Tyler's character dies from a defibrillator, which is one of my favorite parts. In real life, defibrillators stop hearts. They don't start them. Most movies and TV get this wrong. They use defibrillators to start someone's heart, but that's inaccurate, and I appreciate this film for getting it right. And finally, Jay's character dies from a head injury after a tussle with Logan's character. I really enjoyed the deaths in this film, as we expected all of the contestants to die of one of the puzzles in one of the escape rooms, but the writers decided to go with something different, and I appreciate that. Okay, movie watchers, here's the breakdown. I'm giving the writing a 6 out of 10, as the story seemed coherent enough. It progressed pretty well. I wish we could have gotten more backstory, but they did more backstory than they had to, and I'm okay with that. I'm giving the acting a 6 out of 10, as I don't really have much to say here, good or bad. I didn't like that all of the characters kind of seem like they're in a pissy mood the whole time. That's kind of whatever, I guess, you know? It's whatever. I'm giving the cinematography a 9 out of 10, as the scene setup and the camera work is done pretty well, especially in the billiard room. I'm giving the directing a 6 out of 10, as I'm willing to bet it was Adam who made some of those decisions to cut some of that story out in order to have a shorter runtime in the movie, and I would have liked to have seen a longer runtime and more backstory than we got. So overall, the film gets a 7 out of 10 from me. That's barely passing, but it's passing. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this review helps you with your film watching endeavors. Please let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comment section down below. I'd love to open up a discussion, as I love talking about cinema. My next reviews are going to be replicas and the upside, so check back soon for those, and I will see you on the next one. Film movie? But I lost my line and I forgot my line, so I'm going to go look at my line over here. Give me just 1 second, I'll be right back. This movie is fun and suspenseful and thrilling, so it's fun, which I already said. So I'm not going to say fun twice, but if I keep up with the same amount of energy, maybe it will work.